So this is going to be a very quick video on how you can set up your project in Premiere Pro. So this is a very basic tutorial, and it's pretty straightforward. If you have been using Premiere Pro for a while, this is the time for you to quit this video and maybe watch my future videos or my older videos. To get started, we just open up Premiere Pro, we hit new project, and then we basically name our file. We can just call it new project, and then you can basically select where you want this project to be located. For me, I'm just going to leave it in desktop. Renderer, I usually leave it to the best recommended version. Display format is timecode, basically because that's what we would like it to be, and you don't want anything to do with feet or frames and stuff like that, so we leave it into timecode so you can see how long your video is and stuff. Audio samples works most of the times. Capture format HDV is the only option, so we'll go with that. And then once we have that done, we'll just hit OK, and then it's basically going to create a new project for us. So once we're into that, and then we'll just come here and create a new sequence. So from here, you go to File, New, and into Sequence. So once you're here, this is where it kind of gets tricky, where some basic Premiere Pro users might not know how to use this feature. So there are all these already presets that are made. In the beginning, I only used to use, I would actually just go at HDV and check out what they have there. But regardless of this, I have never actually touched anything else elsewhere. So obviously you can come here and then you can create, or you can basically, this is where you can select something and then basically plug it in and start working with that. But if you do want to customize it, for example, because these are pretty fixed stuff, and at times you would like different settings and whatnot. So for example, this doesn't even have a 4K option. This is where it kind of just lacks a lot more. So for this video, let's say I wanted to create a 4K 24p version. As you can see, there are other options. I just don't know which one will be the right option for me. So let's just click 1080p at 24, and then we can go into settings, and then here on basically the editing mode, again it kind of just goes through all the options, and then this is where time base, you want to make sure that your frame rate is what you want it to be. You can do any of these, or actually you can just go up to the top custom, and then you basically have every single frame rate possible that you can create with Premiere Pro. So here you can basically select 30 or 60. I think 60 is the biggest one here, and then you can basically select what your framing you want it to be like. So another thing to mention is that YouTube and other websites, they don't use 1440 to 1080 aspect, they use 1920 to 1080. So this basically makes it more, I would say, in height, it just increases a bit of the sizing there in the height proportions. And then another thing you want to do is in HD anamorphic, this is kind of like the filmic look, and that's not what most YouTubes and Vimeo and stuff uses. So so for this example, I would go with square pixels. I would say you always go with square pixels, and then you can select which proportions of the frame you want it to be. So you can mess around with the frame sizing, but I wouldn't actually mess around with the pixel aspect ratio. And then fields, leave them as is. Display format is usually going to be the same as the time base. And then audio, just leave it as is. 4800 is pretty good. Audio samples, again, for display format works pretty good. And then you can basically ignore this thing. You don't need to worry about the previews, as you can change them around while you're watching everything while you edit. So and then last but not least, you just want to make sure that maximum bit depth and maximum render quality is there, if your computer allows that to go. And then you just name your sequence. I think this is a pretty important step, even I skip at times. So and then you can just name it first sequence or something, and then from there on you can just click OK and start your sequence. Or you can actually save this preset and name it something, so you don't have to go through the whole process over and over again. And then I will just hit OK, and I have my complete new sequence here. I know this is called a project or something in Final Cut, so Final Cut users at beginning, they do kind of have to just mess around with this and see how it works. So this was my quick little video on how to create a project and a sequence. That's the first things you do when you start a new project in Premiere Pro. And if you guys like this video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.